From working weekends and working-class living to living off party favors and Halloween decorations, Kate Middleton's mother isn't the royal family member you think she is.
Michael Middleton married her on June 21, 1980. Given their private nature, the wedding ceremony was relatively small and ordinary. Michael and Carole enjoyed a modest gathering at the parish church of St James in Buckinghamshire.
Carole Middleton, the poised and private mother of Princess Kate, has just made a shocking announcement that's shaking up royal watchers and longtime friends alike.
The royal bride's family have emerged from the luxury Goring Hotel. The Middletons left just after lunchtime, smiling broadly for the waiting media. Parents Michael and Carole, along with Kate's sister Pippa and brother James, posed briefly for photographs.
Known for keeping her personal life tightly under wraps, Carole has finally spoken out about her marriage. And the news isn't good. Behind the smiles and public appearances, it seems deep cracks have formed in her decades-long relationship. What really went wrong? And why now? In this video, we dive into the emotional bombshell Carole just dropped and what it could mean for the Middleton family. Carole and Michael's marriage faces uncertainty. When the news finally broke, the world could hardly believe it. Carole and Michael Middleton, the couple many had admired for years as symbols of lasting love, unity, and grace, were now facing a painful chapter in their lives. Separation. It was a shock that sent ripples through both the media and the many who had quietly looked up to them as a picture of stability and quiet strength. Their story had always seemed almost picture-perfect. From building a successful business together to gracefully navigating the spotlight that came with being the parents of a future queen, they had been a team in every sense of the word. But behind the calm and composed appearances, cracks had been forming. Small at first, barely visible to the public eye, but slowly deepening with time. Much of the strain came from the weight of being in the public eye. As their daughter Kate rose to global prominence, so did the pressure on them to maintain a polished front. Every move was watched, every expression scrutinized, and every silence filled in by relentless media speculation. On top of that, the collapse of their business, a venture that had once defined their shared purpose, was a blow that shook the foundation of their bond. It wasn't just the loss of income.
Carole and Michael could afford a comfortable lifestyle after launching their party decoration business in 1987.
It was the loss of something they had built together, something that had carried meaning beyond finances. According to friends close to the family, things between Carole and Michael had begun to change long before the public caught wind of it. The warmth between them seemed to fade slowly. They weren't fighting loudly, but rather drifting apart, quietly. A more subtle and perhaps more heartbreaking kind of distance. Their once effortless partnership began to feel more like two people walking side by side, but no longer in step. Carole, always the strong and determined mother figure, focused her energy on her children and grandchildren. She carried on with grace, refusing to let her private pain cast a shadow over her family. Her love for them was unwavering, and in many ways, they became her anchor through the emotional storm. Michael, the quieter and more reserved half of the couple, chose a different path. Rather than speaking out or confronting the noise, he withdrew from the limelight. The man who had always stood in the background, content not to seek attention, stepped even further back, letting the world speculate while he remained silent. Despite the sadness surrounding their separation, this isn't the end of their story. It may not be the fairy tale people imagined, but real life rarely is. What Carole and Michael share can't simply be measured by whether they stay together or apart. It lives in the years they've spent side by side, in the family they've raised with care and devotion, and in the quiet strength with which they continue to face life's challenges. Even as they step into an uncertain future, one thing remains clear. Their legacy is not one of failure, but of resilience. Their journey, marked by love, loss, sacrifice, and grace, is still unfolding. And whether together or walking different paths, the dignity with which they carry themselves continues to speak volumes about who they are. In the end, Carole and Michael Middleton may no longer be the couple we thought we knew, but perhaps in their strength, honesty, and humanity, they are something even more admirable. Their love story, though changing, is not over. It's just moving into a new chapter. How did their love journey start? Let's take a look at their humble beginnings. Carole and Michael's humble beginnings. Long before they became known as the royal in-laws, the Middletons were just a regular British couple trying to build a good life. In the late 1970s, Carole and Michael Middleton were two young professionals working at British Airways.
Carole went to work at British Overseas Airway Corporation as an air hostess. According to Sean Smith's 2011 biography, Carole's place of work turned out to be the very place she met her future husband, Michael Middleton.
Carole as a lively, cheerful flight attendant who loved the skies, and Michael as a calm and dependable flight dispatcher who made sure everything ran smoothly on the ground. Their worlds collided during their time at the airline, and what began as a simple workplace friendship soon took flight into a romance neither of them could have predicted. Carole was the kind of woman who brought energy into every room she entered. With her upbeat personality and sense of adventure, it's easy to imagine why Michael was drawn to her. He, in contrast, was more reserved, steady, thoughtful, and dependable. Together, they balanced each other out beautifully. As they fell in love and later married, they dreamed not of fame or fortune, but of a happy life together, one step at a time. Their early years as a couple were marked by simplicity and quiet determination. They lived modestly, worked hard, and focused on building a stable future. Carole, however, wasn't someone who could be satisfied staying within the lines society had drawn for her. While she cared deeply for her home and family, she also had an eye for business and a spark of creativity that couldn't be ignored. In 1987, with 3 young children and a desire to contribute more, Carole launched Party Pieces, a small mail-order business selling party supplies. What started at her kitchen table eventually grew into a highly successful family business. Carole's flair for design and attention to detail caught on with parents across the UK, and the business began to flourish. With Michael's steady support and business knowledge, the venture allowed the Middletons not just financial security, but the ability to give their children a rich and well-rounded upbringing. As the years passed, their family grew with the arrival of Catherine, known to the world today as Princess Kate, Pippa, and James. Carole and Michael poured their hearts into raising their children with strong values, a good work ethic, and a deep appreciation for both independence and family. Their home life was not about glitz or show, but about warmth, laughter, and love, a nurturing environment where each child could grow into their own. They never imagined, not even for a moment, that their eldest daughter would one day catch the eye of a prince. They weren't chasing titles or status. They were just raising their children to be the best version of themselves. But fate had a remarkable plan in store. When Catherine met Prince William at university, it set in motion a journey that would forever change the Middletons' lives and put them under the watchful gaze of the world. Suddenly, this once private family was at the center of media attention. Their story, from humble beginnings to royal connections, became something of a modern-day fairy tale. But what truly captivated people wasn't just the glamour of the royal connection. It was the grounded, relatable charm of a family who had stayed true to themselves, even as the world around them changed. At the heart of it all remained Carole and Michael, a couple who had started out with little more than love, determination, and a dream. Their story is a reminder that even the most unexpected lives can grow from the most ordinary beginnings, and that sometimes fairy tales really do take flight from the ground up. Was there a significant change in the lives of Middletons as Kate started seeing Prince William? How did it affect them? Let's find out what the royal exposure felt like for the Middletons. The royal exposure. When Kate Middleton began dating Prince William, her family's life changed forever.
Kate and William actually met at St. Andrews in 2001, and while it wasn't love at first sight, their first meeting was seriously important.
The Middletons, once a regular private family living in the quiet English county of Berkshire, were suddenly catapulted into the global spotlight. Their peaceful existence was upended as the world's media turned its lens towards them, eager to uncover every detail about the people who had raised the future queen. Carole Middleton, Kate's mother, had always valued a life centered on her children, her business, and her privacy. She was known as a hard-working woman who, along with her husband Michael, built a successful party supplies company from the ground up. But the moment her daughter's relationship with the prince became public, Carole's carefully protected world was invaded. Photographers camped outside their home. Reporters dug into her past. Overnight, she went from being a private businesswoman to one of the most talked-about mothers in Britain. The attention wasn't just curious, it was intense. Some praised Carole as a graceful, well-mannered mother who had raised a poised young woman fit for royalty. Others painted her as a cunning strategist, implying she had groomed Kate for a royal future from the start. Whether admired or criticized, Carole found herself on the covers of magazines, her every move analyzed, her family's story debated. As the royal engagement became official and the wedding day approached, the media frenzy only grew stronger. What should have been a time of quiet pride for a mother preparing to see her daughter marry the future king became an overwhelming, non-stop whirlwind of attention. And the spotlight wasn't just on Kate and her parents. It extended to her siblings too. Pippa Middleton, Kate's younger sister, was thrust into unexpected fame. Her appearance at the wedding in a simple yet elegant dress sparked a global sensation. Suddenly, she was dubbed the world's most eligible woman. Her social life and fashion choices splashed across tabloids and news outlets worldwide. It wasn't something she had asked for, but there it was. Fame, delivered in full force, uninvited and unstoppable. James Middleton, the youngest of the three siblings, also felt the heat of public interest. Though quieter than his sisters, he couldn't escape the curiosity surrounding the family. Business ventures he undertook were dissected by the media, and he found himself in the strange position of being known mostly for who his sister was, rather than who he was. In truth, the Middletons were no longer just a family. They had become a symbol, a phenomenon. They represented a new kind of royal connection, modern, middle-class, self-made. But with that came a heavy price. The constant attention, the pressure to present a perfect image, the intrusion into their personal lives, it all took its toll. While many saw the fairy tale romance of Kate and William,
Kate Middleton and Prince William are showing intimate moments together in a newly released video honoring the power of Mother Nature.
behind the scenes was a family navigating uncharted waters. Their journey from a quiet household to royal in-laws was not just about glitz and glamour. It was also about sacrifice, endurance, and learning to live with the knowledge that their every word, action, and choice could become global news. What began as love between a prince and a commoner became a seismic shift for the Middletons, ordinary people caught in the extraordinary whirlwind of royalty. Let's delve into the details of the royal wedding that ushered Kate Middleton into the royal family. The royal wedding and its aftermath, fame, scrutiny, and pressures. In 2011, the world watched with awe as Kate Middleton married Prince William in a ceremony that was as grand as a fairy tale. But beyond the royal glamour and historical significance, this wasn't just the story of a prince marrying a commoner. It was the turning point that catapulted the Middleton family into an international spotlight. For the Middletons, the wedding was more than a celebration. It was the moment their quiet, relatively private lives were replaced with fame, fascination, and an unexpected level of scrutiny. At the heart of this transformation was Carole Middleton, Kate's elegant and composed mother. On that iconic day, her graceful appearance captured global admiration. She seemed the picture of dignity, standing confidently among royalty, yet holding on to her identity as a self-made woman and devoted mother. But with admiration came expectations, ones neither she nor her family could have fully prepared for. The wedding gave the Middletons a newfound public image. They were no longer just a well-off British family running a party business. They became figures of curiosity, role models, and in some cases, targets. The media, once enamored, grew hungry for stories, real or imagined. Suddenly, every word they spoke, every outfit they wore, every gesture they made was examined, discussed, and judged. Pippa Middleton, Kate's younger sister, became an overnight sensation. Her style, confidence, and striking presence at the wedding were endlessly praised. But just as quickly, the tide began to turn. What started as admiration shifted to obsession, and then to criticism. The attention Pippa received was intense, often unfair, and laced with both admiration and envy. James, the youngest Middleton sibling, faced his own struggles in the shadows of his sister's fame. While he tried to build his own identity and career, he was often pulled into the narrative of royal connection, whether he wanted to be or not. The constant attention made it hard to truly escape the pressures of public life. As time passed, the Middletons found themselves expected to live according to royal-like standards, flawless, graceful, and forever in control. But behind closed doors, the pressure began to weigh on them. Carole and her husband Michael, once seen as grounded, confident, and successful, found themselves navigating unfamiliar territory. They were no longer just parents who had raised a future queen. They had become public figures, expected to remain polished under the glare of never-ending attention. What was once a family proud of their roots and privacy was now constantly under the microscope. The fairy tale wedding may have opened doors.
I, William Arthur Philip Louis.
Take thee, Catherine Elizabeth.
Take thee, Catherine Elizabeth.
To my wedded wife.
To my wedded wife.
I pronounce that they be man and wife together, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost.
But it also opened a window into their lives, one they could never fully close again. And while they wore their new roles with poise, the strain of constant observation, whispered judgments, and unrealistic expectations left its mark. In the end, the Middleton story is one of transformation, but not just from middle class to royalty adjacent. It's a tale of what happens when ordinary people are swept into an extraordinary world, and how the glow of global admiration can slowly shift into something more complicated. Their journey is as much about resilience as it is about recognition, a reminder that fame, even when wrapped in royal silk, carries a weight that few are prepared to bear. As the Middletons become a part of the royal family, they begin to face other challenges. Let's dig into the collapse of party pieces, the family business of the Middletons. Cracks in the foundation. For many years, the Middleton family seemed to live a dream life, successful, united, and admired. They ran a well-known business called Party Pieces, which Carole Middleton had built from the ground up with dedication, love, and an unshakable belief in her vision. It wasn't just a business, it was a reflection of her passion and drive, a project she had poured her whole heart into. Carole's journey with Party Pieces had started in her kitchen, and over the years, it blossomed into a thriving company supplying party goods across the UK. But as time passed, cracks began to appear behind the polished image the world saw. The retail landscape was changing fast. Big online retailers were taking over. Consumer habits were shifting, and more people were shopping from their phones and computers. The cheerful little business that had once felt unstoppable began to struggle in this new digital age. Despite Carole's efforts to adapt and keep the company afloat, the challenges piled up. The company that once felt like an extension of herself was now slipping through her fingers. By 2023, after battling financial difficulties for years, Party Pieces was forced into administration, weighed down by debts running into the millions. It was a crushing moment. For Carole, it wasn't just the end of a business. It felt like the loss of something deeply personal. She had invested not just money and time, but dreams, energy, and identity into Party Pieces. Watching it fall apart was like watching a part of herself disappear. The experience was more than a financial failure. It was a heartbreak. And behind the scenes, this heartbreak was not happening in isolation. The emotional toll of the business's decline was quietly echoing in her marriage to Michael Middleton. What had once seemed like a strong, steady relationship began to falter. The stress of the failing business crept into their personal lives, making everyday conversations heavier and more difficult. For years, any small tension had been smoothed over by shared goals and a sense of purpose. But now, with the foundation of their shared success crumbling, the little strains began to show more clearly. What once felt like a partnership rooted in mutual support now seemed tired and strained. Where there had been laughter, there was silence. Where there had been unity, there was distance. Public attention didn't help either. As parents of the future queen, the Middletons were constantly under the media's gaze. Every move they made was watched. Every change in fortune speculated about. While they tried to keep a brave face, the constant scrutiny only added more pressure to an already fragile situation. It wasn't just about losing a business or struggling in a marriage. It was the slow, painful erosion of a life carefully built over decades. Dreams that once felt bright and solid now felt shadowed by disappointment and quiet regret. Carole and Michael, who had once seemed to navigate life so gracefully side by side, now found themselves standing on uncertain ground. The emotional weight of their journey, the highs of success, the blows of failure, the relentless expectations, had taken its toll. The once perfect picture was now blurred at the edges, and the future no longer looked so certain. Yet in all of this, there remained a thread of resilience. Because when everything around you starts to unravel, it is often in those raw, difficult moments that true strength begins to show. Some have rumored the dedication to their grandchildren and their presence in the spotlight as some of the reasons behind the challenges that affected Carole's business and marriage. Let's delve into the details of the Middletons' special dedication to their royal grandchildren during Kate's cancer diagnosis.
Kate, the Princess of Wales, announced her cancer diagnosis to the world. The princess said that she is undergoing preventative chemotherapy treatment following abdominal surgery in January.
A family dedicated to their grandchildren. Carole and Michael Middleton's rare interaction with royal grandchildren at Norfolk home. In a rare and heartwarming glimpse into the private world of the royal family, Carole and Michael Middleton, parents of the Princess of Wales, have been spotted in a touching home video taken at Anmer Hall, the Norfolk countryside retreat of Prince William and Princess Kate. The footage, recorded just last month during the family's summer break, features 3 generations gathered under one roof. The video was released as part of an emotional moment in which Princess Kate shared with the nation that she has completed her course of preventive chemotherapy. Her candid announcement was both hopeful and heartfelt, offering the public a deeply personal update on her health. In the video, Carole, 69, and Michael, 75, appear completely at ease as they spend precious time with their daughter, son-in-law, and grandchildren, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis. The family is seen enjoying a simple yet joyful card game around the dining table, filling the room with laughter and quiet affection. One touching scene shows Carole studying the cards in her hand with concentration, while young George appears deep in thought over his own. In another moment, the youngest of the royal children, little Louis, is cozily seated on Prince William's knee, clearly content and full of energy. Princess Charlotte, poised and engaged, is nestled between her mother and grandfather, fully immersed in the game. The togetherness in the scene is impossible to miss, and the family's casual attire adds to the sense of warmth and familiarity. Carole is dressed in a green blouse decorated with a leafy print, while Michael wears a relaxed navy shirt. Kate looks radiant in a paisley-patterned dress, and Prince William sports his signature look, an open shirt with rolled-up sleeves. More than just a family gathering, the video captures a moment of peace, healing, and resilience. The Middletons, long known for their quiet strength and supportive presence, have clearly played a pivotal role in helping their daughter through her health battle. Their bond is evident, not just in the games and smiles, but in the ease and comfort they share as a family. Kate's public message accompanying the video shines light on the deeper meaning behind these moments. She explains how her journey with cancer has led her and Prince William to appreciate the simple but important things in life. It's a poignant reminder that, even amidst royal duties and public scrutiny, what matters most are the people we hold close and the time we spend together. The video, though brief, offers a rare and beautiful insight into the family's private life. It shows not only the strength of their relationships, but also their shared joy in the ordinary, something many can relate to, no matter their status. This glimpse behind the palace walls reveals a story not just of royalty, but of love, unity, and hope. And as Princess Kate continues her journey of recovery, it's clear that she does so surrounded by the unwavering support of her family, anchored by the simple moments that matter most. What do you think about the Middletons' transition into the spotlight? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.